Hello, my name is Amber Slasher. I'm a teacher at Palisades High School. Currently, my 10th grade English courses are reading short stories, and I am going to introduce literature circles. Before we begin literature circles, students must have a highlighter, the packet of reading, and post-it notes. In today's literature circle, we're going to define each role and which each student is in charge of. The purpose is to have an effective discussion in regards to the literature that is present. In today's discussion, I am the discussion director. My role demands that I identify important aspects of the assigned text, and I also will address the group to meet these discussion questions. I'm also in charge of identifying the point of view and addressing events in the plot that form the plot diagram.
My job is a captivating connector. If you were to be the captivating connector, your job would be to connect and interact with the text on a personal and/or literary level.
Alright, so my role was the literary lumineer. If you were the literary lumineer, your job would be to read the assigned section and watch out for words worth knowing. These words might be interesting, new, important, or used in unusual ways. It is important to indicate the specific location of the words so the group can discuss these words in context. Also, track the literary devices used in the text to enhance meaning and create unique explanations and comparison to promote active reading.
I'm the charismatic characterizer. If you are the characterizer, your role is to analyze characters that are important to note in the passages that your group read.
My job is the setting sketcher. If you were the setting sketcher, your role would be to examine and research the setting to the story in order to connect the people in your group and the characters in the story.
Now that we've identified each role, we're going to show you an example of what an effective literature discussion looks like. Okay, so since we just read chapter 1 from Charlotte's Web before breakfast, one thing that I would like to discuss are the important ideas or moments in this section. What do you guys believe was the most important moment in chapter 1?
I think mostly just like this entire chapter is pretty important because like it sets the scene for the entire book, because this is where Fern tells her dad that she doesn't want him to kill Wilbur, and this is where she gets Wilbur. So I don't know, I think the one that really hit me, the moment that really hit me, was when Fern's dad let Fern keep Wilbur. Yeah.
And I think it's also important because it really establishes what kind of pig Wilbur is. The author refers to him as a runt 3 times in the chapter, and a runt, of course, being like a weak and unstable pig that really wouldn't be able to fend for itself. So you can tell how Wilbur's going to have a tough time, at least in the initial chapters growing up.
Sure. And you learn a lot about Fern. She's a lot more sensitive than maybe the other people in the story. They live on a farm, so they don't really think of it that way, but Fern sees everybody as somebody with feelings. So Wilbur's obviously going to be really important to her.
That's a good point to bring up, how the setting affects the characters and the way in which they react to different situations. Like Mrs. Arable and Mr. Arable, they don't really think of the pigs or the animals as anything besides food or like a profit, because this is like how they get their money. So I guess Fern just really, I don't know, she doesn't really think of it like that, like Sam said.
And as you were saying about the setting, how that really determines a lot of things, we can connect with that ourselves personally, being as we live in a rural landscape with a lot of farms and stuff like that, which makes it easy to connect with Fern and the Rabels here, because they also live in a rural place, it seems.
Yeah. I even think on the back when it says, Fern, what is the capital of Pennsylvania? I don't know if that's just a random capital that the teacher asked, but is that where she lives maybe? I thought that we could connect that, obviously, because we live in Pennsylvania. So I don't know if maybe that was just like a coincidence, but it could be, because Pennsylvania is really rural, and you would definitely see this type of situation in Pennsylvania.
All right, well, I think what we can do then is we can close up our discussion and then just go through our specific roles. We'll go through the rubric just to make sure that we're on task with everything that we need to do for this literature circle.
Yeah. Okay. Is the homework to read chapter 2 then?
Yeah, we'll read chapter 2,
Okay.
keep our assigned parts, and then we can switch them up at some point in time. But I think it would be good to have the same part again for tomorrow.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right, good job.
Good job, guys.
Good morning.